Hello, everybody, and welcome to the chat tonight. Today, we have a really special guest that I'm really excited to talk to that's been a long time overdue. I've been needing to ask you to be on the stream now for a while, so thank you. But we have Big Tank Hank tonight. Thank you for being here.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Tank Hank. And thank you for asking me to be on the stream.
I'm
You know,
really excited. I feel like
I've been
you're
looking
a
forward
really
to it.
wise person that I need to talk to.
That's I'm very spiritual, and I like to think my God keeps my tank filled, so I can forever pour out. You get it? Not a play on words. My tank filled, Big Tank Hank, but keep my tank filled so I can pour out into other people. I really believe that.
Well, what brought you into this community? I feel like I've seen you around for a while, but what brought you, like, I guess, first off, into fish keeping, and second, into the YouTube atmosphere, the community?
Well, the fish keeping aspect, from a little kid, I've just always been intrigued with nature from the animal
Mm-hmm.
standpoint. I mean, you know, all of nature, trees, plants, dirt, rocks. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
everything outside of my household, but especially things that I can catch
Mm-hmm.
and look at inside of a box or something. And I was drawn to fish. I had a best friend, his father, worked on ranches when we were growing up. They
Mm-hmm.
lived out, I'm from the country, a little town called Hempstead in Texas, right outside of Houston, but they lived in a smaller area outside of Hempstead called Rock Island.
Uh-huh.
And there was one road with a church and a store, and there may have been 100 people that lived in that area. And it was all farmland.
Uh-huh.
So he worked on maybe three ranches at the same time in the sense of he would feed in the morning at this place, livestock. He'd go to this
Mm-hmm.
place during hay season, and then maybe he would go to this place and do some veterinary. He wasn't a veterinarian, but he did a lot of administering of
Yeah.
medication and stuff like that, birthing animals.
Mm-hmm.
So during the summers, our game would be to wake up in the morning because his mother would be cooking before the sun came up.
Uh-huh.
So the breakfast would wake us up. Our game where we would eat and we'd get out bicycles and we were going to try to find where he was that day. So we just take off and we'd always have some fishing poles and buckets with us. So I would forever come home with turtles, crawfish,
Mm-hmm.
regular fish. just I had to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I forever had fish in something. I can
Mm-hmm.
remember, the corsage containers, the round ones.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yeah.
remember turning a corsage container into a fish tank with gambusia, but we called them just minnows back then.
Uh-huh.
I just found out about gambusia in the last 2 years, but yeah, they were just minnows then.
Yeah.
But I would do stuff like that. I forever had buckets, and one birthday, my mom got me an aquarium, and I would put some of everything in it. You know how people are doing the native tanks?
Uh-huh.
I had native tanks. I would have tadpoles, perch, whatever I could think of to
Uh-huh.
put in those tanks. So throughout the years, I'm 49 years old. Well, actually 48. I'll be 49 in April. So
Mm-hmm.
throughout that whole time, I've always, at different times in my life, I would have to have if it was just a small bowl over here with a better in it, or it was a full fledged. I think the largest I've ever had set up and looking real good was like 75-gallon tall
Mm-hmm.
African cichlids. But I've just always had fish somewhere around. And as far as coming into the YouTube fish community, I've been on YouTube probably 10 years.
Good.
This is my third channel. The first channel was called Make Ready One, where all I did on that was post like powerlifting videos that I would um, save off the computer, and I just
Mm-hmm.
post them. My next channel was about 5 years ago, Big Creature Fit, because some young individuals that would work out with me at the gym started calling me Big Preacher. So, I had Big Preacher Fit where I would post it. Big Preacher Fit is still on the platform today if y'all want to check it out. But it's about 5 years old. Um, the motivational videos that I post on here, I actually made over there.
Oh.
But they got no traction on that channel simply because the fitness community is more narcissistic, and is if you're not patting someone on their head or telling them how swole they are, they don't pay no attention to you.
Yeah.
So my videos just sat over there. And I believe, I was told to make those videos then for now. Because I just one day was like, hey, just go and screen record those videos and put them on Big Tank Hank channel. And a lot of people, are appreciating them. But they've been around for a while.
But that's cool.
How I got into this platform as far as the fish, I moved I'm in what's called Katy, Texas. Now, Katy is real close to Houston, still Harris County, but it's like a suburb area. About 2 years now. I work in a penal institution, and I've done that for a few years. I left where I'm working now, and I went to work juveniles, and I was gonna save the world, save these kids. Well, I found out that juveniles fight all the time. And I had a day where I had just started working there, and I ruptured my Achilles. August 26, 2018. Ruptured my Achilles. So then I was just sitting at home. I've always been the big, strong guy, to do whatever. My kids, every Father's Day would buy me a superhero shirt. That was me. And here I am sitting at home, and I could do nothing. I couldn't walk. I couldn't put into my family, and depression started to set in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I was watching YouTube videos first. I think I started just watching YouTube videos about fish. So I decided to buy clear storage totes from Walmart. Because I wasn't getting a lot of money on disability. Yeah. So I would get feeder guppies, and I put them in this big tote, and I started recording it. I was like, man, I'm gonna put them on YouTube. Just start me another channel and put them on there, because my channel just had 3 different names, and it was always like guppy oriented or endler oriented, because that's what I found these little endlers that I never knew existed, and I was enamored by them. And at the time, I thought feeder guppies were endlers, but I know better now. But I thought that's what I had, so I'm like, they sell them for 25 cents a piece. Oh my God. I'm gonna buy a bunch of them, and I'm raising them, not realizing the selling aspect wasn't gonna amount to a hill of beans, but I was gonna try it though. But I mean, it became therapy. We talked so much, in the fish film about fish being therapy and helping us through all kinds of situations. It really was for me, because my family, I love my family, but looking at them at that time was still part of my depression, because it's like I can't do anything to help y'all. So I needed something to take me away, and doing stuff to my little fish tank, and it just it started to bring me back.
Yeah.
I started feeling life, lively all over again, and then the aspect of being a YouTuber just started to slowly, come into play. Ironically, yesterday my son was telling me he wanted to be a YouTuber, but I was talking to my wife about it, and that was the first time it came out of my mouth. I was like, you know what? I guess I'm a YouTuber now. But I never thought about it.
It's weird. It's weird. Like, I still feel very strange for some reason going up and saying, hi, I'm Science Caliphonics. It's like, I don't know. I'm glad I've done this and went down the YouTube, especially streaming, because I was such outside my realm of things I thought I was capable of doing. That it's just strange to be like, yeah, I'm so proud of it. And I think honestly, being like fish, animal related, more nature related, kind of calming, I feel like I'm more proud of it because everybody here's so nice.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just a strange thing to be like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. It's like I just talk to my friends on YouTube. That's all.
Right. Hey, I've had one real close friend. I mean, his birthday is in May, mine is in April. We're the same age. We've been friends since like 4 years old. Now I've had a few other friends in between there. All together, I say maybe to call true friends in my 48 years, maybe 10 people. But I've only had one or two that I was just extremely close to. Well, I get on YouTube and start meeting a lot of people. I mean, I can say I have more friends. I met more friends in the last 2 years, people that I can actually call friends.
Yeah.
Whom I only see on the camera, but everybody's so genuine. I mean, it's just crazy for me to think about it. You know, it still doesn't seem real to me. I mean, and like what I have to always do every stream I'm on, Nathan Alexander, Sand Creek Aquatics. Nathan, I was sitting in one of Nathan's chats, and I mean, that name, when I came up to the name Big Tank Hank, it just grabs people. And I mean, I had no clue at first. It just sounded cool to me. But it just would grab people's attention in the chat. So somehow we started, talking back. I didn't ask a lot of questions for him to, but somehow, he drew to me and he asked, hey, you want to be on? I had never been on a stream. That was the first stream I ever found. And he was like, man, it's going to be a day where it's just you. I'm not going to bring anybody else up. we're going to learn about you. So, I mean, I'm just extremely humbled at that point. I'm like, what's really going on right now, And I mean, we did the stream and he became a very, 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 very integral piece of my life, while he was still here. And it tore me up when he passed. I couldn't believe it, And I had a series of tragedies during that time of losing people. My best friend's mother, who you just think about it, we've been friends since we were 4 years old, so she was like a mother of mine. So she passed away at the end of April. Then I think he was in June. I mean, it was just rolling. COVID hit. Oh my God, it seemed like I went from the ruptured Achilles, everything was looking good. Then I hit this other spot.
Yeah.
I mean, with anxiety was so bad, I couldn't go to work.
Yeah.
2 months I was at home and I could not go in past the gates because I work at a prison, but it's like a hospital facility, with older people, and I mean, and there's an actual hospital in it. So the pandemic stares me in my face daily. Like, it's for those people that still doesn't really take it seriously. I have to look it in the face every day. But when that hit, I hit another one of those points. There was kind of a dip. And all of the people that I met while being on Nathan's stream, I created a group in Facebook Messenger that I called YouTube Bros. And I just created it and I just added them to it. And I mean, they use it today. I don't even know if any of them really realized where it came from.
Weird when we needed it.
And it's just forever. It's always going off. People always on it talking. Man, it's been so important. This platform is so beautiful. It's and I mean, how often can I say that? It's wonderful, people. Everybody down there in the chat. I'm not ignoring y'all, but I don't have my reading glasses on. So
yeah, I can't see it.
I see you down there.
Just can't see, guys.
I'm gonna have to say hello to everybody when I rewatch this tonight. I'll see who was all down there. But I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring anybody. But there's so many people down there in this chat that
Jesse
were
will be here soon. He'll read it for us.
hey, that'll be wonderful because I'm not seeing worth a flip right now. But they were so important down there. I mean, from your I'm not gonna hit everybody, but I'm gonna try. You know, you have your Chattanooga Eds, and we all know Chattanooga Ed. You got your Fish Room Fevers. You know, you got your Daniken Aquatics. I mean, you got your Anthony Fisher Friends. You got your 44 Mag Guys, your Griffin Fish Rooms. I mean, all of these guys are in that chat today. You know, right today. That was the foundation. I've met so many more people outside of that. You know, but that was like the core nucleus. I mean, when he passed, we were shedding tears together. I mean, we had a stream that night where, I mean, people would just periodically come up and speak about, you know, how important he was and how much he meant to us, you know. And that, it just meant so much to me that I kind of adopted everybody, because I'm, you know, people always consider me like their father or grandfather, and even people that are older than me is just, you know, just because of the way that I am. And I adopt everybody, and it's like I felt I needed to give something. So that's how my live stream started. In the fishy den with Hank, you mentioned, you know, you think of a den, old school den where the family would sit. You had your living room, you had, you know, but the den is where you would sit and watch TV and maybe had a fireplace, you know, during the holidays. And that's the kind of atmosphere I want. I want people to come in and be comfortable, you know, speak on some things in your life, maybe get some stuff off your back that you think you're going through by yourself. And there's always somebody in the chat that can speak life into you, that can uplift you, that can give you a connect to something that can help you.
Yes.
And I mean, it's rolling, you know, it's doing what I hoped that it would do. We laugh and, you know, and we joke over there, but it's not like a place where, you know, I'm pretty sure early on I let some people down, because it's not going to be, you know, just the giggle fest over there. You know, it's about real serious reaching out and touching people.
Well, I believe it was your stream with Aquafunk. Was it a few months ago that you did
it was
with Aquafunk? That I had watched you before, but that stream I really like. I don't know. I just took notice and just was more aware of you and listened to you more often. I don't know. That stream just kind of changed everything for me. I felt closer to you guys because it was kind of a more serious stream that you guys, what you were talking about. And I don't know. Just needed to hear it. It came up in my feed and I was like, I need to watch this. And I did need to watch that. So it's working. What you're doing is great. So keep doing it.
And thank you for watching. I'm going to tell you, and I know from just a little time that we've been talking, so I know you need this. You, as strange as it is for me to show up in people's chats and they recognize me, you know, that's kind of how I had you. You know, it's like, man, I was forever watching your streams and hearing people talk about you. And I mean, you know, you are one of these big YouTubers to me, you know. That's why it just stays. It's just so strange for me because you know, I've had people say, man, you know, your channel seems so much bigger than it is. And, you know, and I'm like, it is. Everything else just hadn't caught up to it yet.
Yeah. Well, the people that I want to watch me have found me. I don't necessarily need to be the biggest channel. I just want my friends here. And if you want to be here, be here. If you don't, try again next time.
Right. Hey, I am very spiritual, and I don't beat anybody up with that, but there's a scripture that says you must show yourself friendly in order to have friends. You have to show yourself friendly. You show yourself friendly. Your better half shows himself as friendly. That catches people. I mean, if it's just out of the corner of your eye, you know, you're like, well, let me see what. Hey, okay, all right. I really like them. I really
Mhm.
like them on here. And that's what it is. That's what it is. We all love these fish. Like I was telling Roberto last week, I say it's just fish. We were speaking on like YouTuber drama, this, that, and other, but I was like, it's so simple. It's just fish. So
Mhm.
that's what we all have in common. But it's the person.
Mhm.
It's the person that we gravitate to.
Yes.
That's why you're popular as you are. We just gravitate to you.
I'm
Hey,
friendly to a fault sometimes.
hey, that's okay. I've been married 21 years, and my wife was like that, just super, super friendly. I'd be on the backside. I'm very friendly, and I guess too, because of I've been working in these institutions for so many years, I'm
Mhm.
extremely aware. It hasn't tainted. Who I am as a person, but I'm just
Mhm.
always aware of subtle things,
Yeah.
dealing with people. And she would always smile and talking there, but I'm like, baby, you come over here. You can't just, talk to everybody like that. You know, you have to be more aware of the situations and scenarios. Out in the
Uh-huh.
grocery store and the gas stations, that's not a real good place, for a young lady to, what I'm saying? I'm like, so no, friendly is a wonderful thing. You just have to be a little more aware.
Yeah. I've learned since I've gotten, when I was in my 20s and my teens, I was blatantly unaware. But now that I'm inching closer to 40, I'm a little bit more aware. So I've learned, but still there's always room for growth.
Hey, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with friendly. We just have to always, when we can learn the balances, that's the hardest part in life.
Mhm.
And it's not even just uh friendly and being aware, just all the aspects of life. It's the balancing act. It's
Yes.
that balancing act. If
Hmm.
if we're more intentional about it, practice makes perfect. And if you're more intentional, it just becomes a part of you. It just becomes natural. And after a while, it's not something you even have to think about or focus on, but it's turning that place in our heads to trigger that this
Hmm.
is what I'm going to pay attention to. This is what I'm going to start focusing on. And it becomes pretty simple. It becomes pretty simple. Life has its terrible nuances, but it has its wonderful things also.
It
And
does.
life it's how you look at it. Life can be bad for you. Life can be good. My life is very good, but things happen in it.
Uh-huh.
But it never takes my joy. I'm the same person all the time.
Hmm.
Sick, healthy, broken, whole. I'm always the same person because how I feel on the inside has nothing to do with the next person. So I always have energy for somebody else. And
Hmm.
your giving helps you. Your giving helps you in whatever capacity it is that you're doing it. It
Uh-huh.
helps. It helps you. Being unselfish is a wonderful, wonderful trait for people to have. And it doesn't always mean physical things. People get that confused also. It doesn't always mean physical. Time, an ear, a listening ear, eye
Hmm.
contact, when somebody's actually talking to you. You may hear them, but if you're like this while they're talking, they may not feel the connection.
Yes.
You mean well, but they don't feel it.
Hmm.
You just have to always be mindful. Hey, give them your focus. Give them your focus. They deserve that. We all do.
Hmm.
We all do.
It's true.
I see you sneaking in over there.
Oh yeah.
Let's go this way. We're gonna go on a roller coaster ride again.
How you doing?
He just celebrated his 21st wedding anniversary on the 10th.
On the
Is that
10th.
yeah? Have any advice?
I
The
always have
word is
advice.
yes.
I always have advice. I was speaking earlier on us being unselfish. Even when it wasn't your fault, voice your opinion, your feeling. But sometimes you have to apologize even when you're not wrong.
Oh yeah, I do that every day at work.
I apologize. He
Hey, that
apologized.
don't count at work.
I do that every day at work. I do that every day at work. I did too good. I'm sorry. Next time I'll try to break something. I apologize. Got it done too fast. Next time I'll slow down. Yeah.
Right. They can't accept it. Hey, it beats like that sometimes.
You're supposed to read the chat for us, by the way. We can't see it.
Oh, okay. Well, right now, Alwyn says Ozzy's a sweetheart. So I'm just jumping in on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's going on? How y'all doing?
Yep.
Let's see if I can squint and see some people down there.
I'll say there's a lot of people in here. I got to play catch up. I'm behind. I knocked my 100-mile drive out, so I'm good.
He drives a lot.
It takes me a good 50 minutes, which are 50, 55 miles or so. But mine will be 100 miles round trip. Is yours 101 way?
Yep. Yeah, I knock it out in about an hour and 40 minutes.
That's wrong.
I get up so early. He leaves at 4:30, and I get up at 4:30. And then I get the kids off to school. And then I clean the house and work on fish tanks. And then the madness comes home. His kids are grown. His youngest is 18, right?
18.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I feel like are they 3 girls?
2 girls and a boy.
2 girls and a boy.
And he fell in the middle. It's 25, 20, and 18. And I felt every bit of those years.
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling them now. I'm right there with you, bud.
It's hard.
Yeah, I got a 16-year-old going on 43.
Yeah, he thinks he's big. But he still came over today, and I had to help him with his laundry. I'm like, don't treat my washer like that. That's just rude. That's too much.
Shake it off the foundations.
Do your kids keep fish tanks in their house?
Huh?
Does any of your kids keep fish tanks?
No.
No?
Every now and then my fish tanks are interesting to them, but not enough for them to keep any fish of their own. Mm-hmm. I bet I'll never get a water change out of any one of them.
His oldest, he used to help me a little bit, but he would help me, but as he was helping me, it was blatantly aware that he did not want to be here. So he was helping, but I don't know if you would call it help.
This he was putting in. Mine, I don't think they haven't particleized any fish food, haven't changed any. Wait a minute. Right before this live stream, I went to my LFS and bought some more guppies, and my son packed them into the house for me.
Oh, that's a start.
That's help. That is
start. He stood outside the fish room and held the bag till I made it in here, handed it to me, and he was good. He was done.
Oh goodness.
But that's all right. I'm trying to talk him into it. I'm like, just get you one. I have all these fish. I'll give you one to start with. Just get you one. Just one.
Yeah, that's all it took for me was one, and then I was hooked because I've had them my whole life too. But my dad had this one that's over here in the living room growing up, so my dad got me into it. But I don't have any memories without a fish tank. I've always, even my first apartment when I moved out. Huh?
You have a tank. You have a tank now that you had growing up.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's over here with the mic. The mic always gets in the way. We re-siliconed it. This one right there. That one. We re-siliconed it. But that's the tank that I had when I was a little bitty kid. It was my dad's tank. It grows out really well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an odd looking color in the stand that we used for it. It's the same stand we had growing up too. You can tell it's old, but I'm glad we still have it. We practiced a couple of times on a couple old like 10-gallon tanks to get the silicone, make sure we knew what we were doing.
I'm afraid to reseal a tank. I'm not even gonna lie.
It was a lot.
You can do it.
You can do it. It's
I
easy,
promise you. It's
Okay.
easy.
It is easy, but it was in my head. I was like, I just got to do it perfect.
I'm just prepping for whenever she wants me to go on like a big acrylic tank or something. So
Well,
I'm working like towards that project.
Do you have acrylic tank? Do you have any experience keeping them, or do you just do
No.
the glass? Me neither.
I had a Oceanic 150 that I got for free a few months ago that I had big plans for, but somebody came along that wanted it more than I did, and they bought it from me. And then when it left, I got even bigger plans, and I hate that I let it go, but you know. Ergo, the sump that I have on my little guppy pond in the garage was on that 150, so I just made a freshwater sump for those blonde endless that I have. But that turned out to be a real good project, so I'm glad I did that one.
I was gonna ask you how it was going, if you were still working on it. I wasn't sure how it was.
I just have it running like it is. All I'm doing right now is waiting on the pothos to fill up the back section of it and to come out. But they're growing real good in it.
Is it?
And I'm just waiting for them to explode out of the top of it and to cover it up.
He's also, how was your pickle jar filter? You've been working on that?
I had to put it on the shelf. I bought a pump, and it was a pond sprinkler pump. 269 gallons, per hour, right? I really didn't fathom that. And I hooked it up to my pickle jar, and water squirting all out of the hole. So I have a video called Emergency Filter Bill. So I had some buckets from Home Depot, and I had to make me a filter with one of those real quick using that pump. It's working beautifully, but that pickle jar wasn't gonna get it done.
No. No.
Not the right size container at that moment. Been there, done that.
I could see the whole garage full of water at this moment. I was like, no, reverse, wrong gear.
I understand that. I've come home and she's been gone and the basement was flooded just because our refill tank was overflowing.
Yeah, where I put my water in for my water changes, I went to Aquashella for the first time, and the water I did all my water changes. I was like, everything's ready to go. It looks so good. Let's do this. And I had left the water on a trickle the whole weekend and came back. And but yesterday the basement was a little bit flooded, but it had nothing to do with fish tanks. I think it was the fact that there's something upstairs in the upstairs bathroom leaking. And I came down, there's a big puddle, but the puddle was in the room I was redoing anyway. So I just cleaned up the water and went on to painting.
Right. Yeah,
there's always something.
My sump got me like that last week. I have a hose coming out from it, but it has this it was a PVC adjustable flow nozzle. And it was flowing pretty good. I was like, well, let me turn it back a little bit to slow down, this flow going into the pond. So I turned it back just a hair. Well, that hair that I turned it back started to make the sump fill up because it wasn't keeping up. So I had a what is it? A float valve? Is it the?
Yep.
Well, my float
stuck. The float stuck.
I was at home too. I didn't go nowhere. I was at home. And my daughter was like, the garage is a little wet, Daddy. Is it supposed to be? So I go, there's water actually coming into the kitchen from under the wall from the garage.
Oh,
And I got to it before my wife got a chance to see it though. But I'm like, it's coming underneath the stove, and I know where it was coming from. So I had to rethink the way I had everything sitting in the garage because I definitely didn't want that to happen, and I wasn't here.
oh.
Oh, it's awful when your significant other finds your mistake before you have a chance to fix it. You just walk in and they're like, Carrie?
Oh,
And I'm like, what? Sorry, what's wrong? Oh no, what'd I do?
You flooded the basement.
Well, it won't be the last time.
That's all right. It wasn't that bad.
It's not, it wasn't that bad. But
man,
the like, have
I
you
stay
ever
rolling.
or
Huh?
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say I stay rolling the dice. My fish room is carpeted.
You're
And
brave.
in this 2 years, I've been blessed. I may be wrong for speaking of it now because it may get me tonight. But I've been blessed in here to just like just a little water drop during a water change where I'm standing there looking at the TV for a little too long and just a little overflow, and I get a towel, rub it real fast and get it out of the carpet. I've been pretty lucky in here, Yeah, I think I should have mentioned that. It might get me tonight.
Well, I had a recent. I think this is the luckiest moment I've had ever in the fish room, where it was a mistake that should have been worse, but I came down in the nick of time. I was doing a water change on this 20 long down here by my feet, and I was siphoning it, and I got rid of the old water, and I went to refill it. But I needed some more water, so I turned it off, and there was just a little bit of water in the trash where the good water is. I have a trash can that goes out with bad water, and the trash can I fill up with good water. That's like a water hose. And at the end of it, I have a spigot that I turn off. Well, I had just unplugged it, and I think Brian had came home from school, or you just came home. Someone had just came home, so I just unplugged that pump. And the next day I had come down here after Brian went to school, and there was enough suction that even though that pump wasn't on, that water still went through the water hose into that aquarium. And it was the water in the brim was identical. There was no water on the floor, but I had came downstairs, and when I put the siphon in it to get rid of some of the water, that overflowed the tank. So I was like, I came down.
Just before it all came over. Oh.
I just reached up and unplugged, but I was like, I'll come back down here in a few minutes and finish doing that. But I forgot and got distracted like I normally do. But there's just enough suction in that water hose that water, even though it wasn't plugged in, was still trickling in just enough that overnight it had finished filling it up itself. Didn't lose any fish, and there was no water on the floor, but it couldn't have been any closer.
Oh,
and I just need to stop and
no.
whoa.
Well, they all equaled out.
Yeah, I just that could have been a whole heck of a lot worse, but thank you for sending me down here when I did.
I had a 10. You see the 10-gallon up here that's rimless? Well, that's because I took the rim off. Well, I had done like 3. Well, right here, there was a tank sitting here that I took the rims off. Okay, I was down here working in this tank, and a little drip of water started hitting here. It started while I was there. So, I'm slight panic though, but not too much. I'm looking. I hook my siphon. I start to suck the water out of there. I move the fish. And the tank, I'm thinking I had it something underneath the back. It could have been a little pebble or something on that, but I don't think it was even. Then I took the rim off, so that means the tank wasn't reinforced to be rimless. And it started to crack underneath, but I actually didn't see the crack until almost a week later. I'm thinking it may have actually ran more. I think it may have been just a little crack, but it started dripping while I was leaning into that tank. If I had just said, "Oh no, I'm not going to do a water change today.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that one would have been bad.
Yeah.
That one would have been bad. I'd have to pull the carpet out here probably behind that one.
Yeah. I'm just messy with my water changes. I had carpet in my apartments when I had this 30-gallon bow front through all my apartments, and I moved that thing through all of those moves. But I'm just generally messy, so I'm always dripping. Like I'll get my sleeve wet and just drip it on the floor, or I'll take the siphon out and there's drips all over. I don't know if I could.
She really gets into it when she cleans a tank.
Now we have, it's like this foam. They're like those interlocking foam tiles for exercise floors.
Okay, I know.
I put over the concrete floor in the basement, so they clean up easier-ish because I'm just messy in general when I'm water changing. I have stuff in bucket. I never have too many buckets. I have a bucket of this should be dumped and a bucket over there and a siphon over here and towels over there. It always gets cleaned up, but during the process, it's a mess.
Rims are one hold. John Larson, rims are what hold the tank together. Yeah, most of the time.
Hey, thank you, John. I just realized that,
Most of the time, depends on how they're built. Yeah.
We have a 10-gallon tank that's rimless that we got for $10 at a yard sale that they took off because I never could get them off. I've tried in the past, but I guess not strong enough to pop it off. But it's held up, but that is a tank I do get extremely nervous. I don't scrape quite as hard on the algae and stuff on that tank because it is pretty. It just seems a little bit more delicate than the others without that top rim.
Yeah, I went on a roll. I may have done like 4. I thought I was really doing something. Hands all chopped up. Actually, I have 2 20 longs down here that are rimless that I took the rims off. There's 2 20 longs and like 3 10s. But the 20s down there, they never move. I have them set, and I have, the egg crate underneath them, to flatten them out. And they never move. I don't have any heavy rocks. I have, my substrate, pretty level and smooth on it. They've been batting a pretty good average, but if they ever let go down there, oh my goodness.
Yeah, thinking back, I think I've only had one. Thinking back, I think we've only had one 10-gallon spring a leak, and it was when they were all upstairs in my dining room when we had all these little 10 gallons upstairs. And I woke up the next day and there was water all over the floor. But there was still 2 or 3 inches left. So I just scooped out the guppies and put them in a different tank. And then that was the tank we used to practice.
Yeah, that was
the tank we used to practice resealing. But I woke up and I just, out of the corner of the kitchen, I was like, that's a puddle. And you get closer, you're like, that's a bigger puddle. But it was in the bottom corner, if I remember right. Looking back on it, it was in the bottom corner of a 10-gallon. It sprung a leak.
Yeah, no, my next time I'm going to buy it already rimless. I'm not going to take no rims off of nothing.
No. They do look good. I like the look of those rimless tanks. But nothing ever quite fits the top of it either. This one that I have that they took off, there's nothing that there's not a real easy lid.
Yeah.
We can make stuff and it's easy, but if I just go to the pet store, everything's just a tad bit off now. But
well, it just depends on what you're going to keep in that tank, whether you need that lid or not.
Well, I have evaporation problems here really bad, so it seems like they evaporate. Whether I have a lid on or not, they evaporate really bad here.
I'm pretty good as far as evaporation, but I learned early. My golden wonder killifish taught me lessons because I've lost so many golden wonder killifish with lids, without lids.
I've lost 3 myself of that particular species.
I mean, they don't care for real. It's like they looking for it at all times. Like a little bully looking for a fight. They looking for something, a hole to jump out of at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lost, I had a wild better that I found in my LFS, Smarter Gina. He was this bronze color, beautiful fish. I had been, hey, this is one of those almost holy grail type of fish. Brought him home. He was in here. He may have got a weekend. I had the
Mhm.
water about that low from the top, and I had some glass lids, but I took the like you have the plastic seal running along the back. I took it
Mhm.
off and left a little gap, for me so I could feed. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking the water's this low from the top, plus with the little lid, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, come home from work on the floor, beef jerky.
Mhm.
Oh shoot.
I'm
Those
good.
are the ones that I kept when I was doing the experiment for school. I was using them as like a stressor for the guppies to see if it manipulated the fry rate, if they were stressed or not. And that's why I had the golden wonder ones.
Okay.
And they're hard to keep in that tank.
But they like chasing guppies.
But they do like chasing guppies.
Hey, I used to call them the poor man's arowana.
I love to watch them eat.
They look, the food doesn't even hit the water. They're already snapping. So I'm like, how do you know the food hadn't hit the water yet? You're not getting anything. Just calm down. Oh, I have a little baby. He's maybe an inch long. The last one I lost was the female. I have a male. He's still. Oh, he's right behind me here. Y'all might actually see him pass by in this tank right behind me. He's pretty big now, but he was pretty small. The female was bigger than him. So I'm thinking, they're gonna be okay. He ran her right out of the tank, but they spawned beforehand.
Wow.
And I just had one little baby show up in my guppy fry. I had this one ugly guppy fry that I was trying to figure out. He was almost cold. I'm looking, I'm like, man, what is wrong with that fry? Look at his eyes, He was almost cold. He looked so strange that I just moved him to another tank and just held on to him. Just held on to him. I put it in with my least killifish. I was like, yeah, you chill over here. They're not gonna eat you, so we're good. And it turned out to be a golden wonder killifish. I hope it's a female.
There you go.
That's cute.
That's awesome. Yeah, we sparked the entire chat onto RO water now.
Oh, that's
and
me,
now
guys.
they're talking hard water, pH up and down.
I have liquid rock with a whole lot of calcium and limestone in it because it's always all over the wall.
Mine is really bad. If I let the water level drop and stay there, I want to say just maybe a couple of weeks and come back and try to get a little sponge and rub it off. You may as well empty the tank and get you some vinegar or whatever. Just go over it all over again because it's not going nowhere.
No.
It's not going nowhere.
Yeah, I'm always fighting it. It seems like we'll scrub it and come back the next day, and I'm like, it's back. Dang it.
We just learned to deal with it.
Yeah.
The live bears love it. So.
The guppies like it. The snails like it. Everything's growing, so just doesn't look all that good. But
yeah,
I have hard water and crushed coral.
That's what I have in that rimless tank that I have is crushed coral, straight crushed coral, hard water, and really happy guppies, snails, and shrimp in that tank.
And the crazy part was that early on, I was the guppy guy at first, and I would just lose guppies. If I spend a lot of money on the string, they wasn't gonna hang around. Now, if I just had your regular mud guppies or your feed the guppies. Hey, they gonna hang around us. If I spent some money on strain, they were out of here. But when I put that crushed coral in there, even though my water's hard like that, when I put the crushed coral in there, they chilling now. There's no issues. But I couldn't keep them in there for nothing. I had everything else, but the guppies just wouldn't cooperate.
Yeah, we went to using oyster shells that you can buy at like your local farm and home type store.
Oh, like for the
and mix it, and mix that in with your substrate.
Just a little bit. I
just a little bit goes a long way.
Okay.
It helped with my snail shells. Not like the snail shells look really like they're colorful and rich. They're not so spotty and see through.
Yeah.
And
I learned that too. I have all these brown ram's horns everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I'd have these translucent snails showing up. You know, I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool at first, right? And folks were like, no, man.
You need to do something.
So you need to put something in there because that snail, those snails not going to stay around too long. And they didn't. But, oh, yeah, they would be see-through. And I thought I was doing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put some. Yeah, I just start adding stuff to the tank. I'm like, you need some rocks, you need some leaves, let's grow some algae. Do you have any rhyme or reason, or do you to your tanks, or do you plan it out, or do you just kind of let whatever happens? If you see something you like, you just kind of add it, or do you have a specific plan?
For the most part, I guess they all planned because I like the white substrate, and I use the hornwort as like trees.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them, like you can see that one up there, all of those are planted, and they grow like daily. It's just I'm always clipping them back. So I guess at this point I do have a rhyme and reason. At first I didn't, but I really like that look. So everything I turned over to that. And
how do you get that?
At the bottom of them, I have mud under them.
You do?
Okay.
Okay. How do you get your hornwort from shedding all over the place?
Healthy.
Does it shed? It's healthy. I had that and I really liked it. Really liked it for the guppies when I first started setting up more tanks than just one or two, but it did really well for a while, and then it just kind of shedded, and that was that.
See, my water changes will be bi-weekly for the most part.
Okay.
So I keep, some minerals in the, in my water, and the hornwort just stay green. My light is right on them, like real close.
Okay.
So it balances off. I have maybe one tank that I have to pull string algae out of, but for the most
they
part,
look so clear.
I've never had, and I just use like one sponge filter in each, the small fry and better sponge filter, and the hornwort, mud underneath my crushed coral. My tanks never cloud. I've never had an algae bloom. They just look like this all the time.
They look good.
Yeah.
They really do.
It's a blessing. When I say all the time, and people, not hear people talking about, man, an algae bloom happening. I'm like, I don't know what an algae bloom is. I've never seen one in real life.
Well, good.
Well, I can show you a bunch of them. We do have a question, though. Any suggestions on what to do with an 8.5 pH that is soft water?
That's high pH.
I cannot answer that question because I don't have a test kit.
I don't know. I would say just add minerals to it, but I'm not sure. That's Sunshine Aquatics, but she's changed her. I'm not sure if she goes by Sunshine anymore. It looks like she just goes by Audrey, but I'm not sure. I would just add some minerals to it to make it a little bit harder.
I would I would guess, and this is a pure guess, I would
idea.
change it slowly.
Like you can add like a crushed coral type stuff to it, like a substrate, but it's not going to break down. It's going to take a long time for that to break down to do anything to the hardness. I would assume it's going to be a really long.
Yeah, and if you go with a straight chemical, this could be a roller
But
coaster
I don't
ride.
know anything about like. I've always had well water or hard water. I've never.
No in between.
Yeah, I've washed my hair once at a hotel in soft water, and I was like, what is this? What's wrong with this water? I wish I knew, but I don't. And I know there's like different products out there to raise hardness, but I've never messed with them.
Well, and that would be the question of how the fish in the tank are doing or what she's trying to do. There's kind of a re-question to that. What is in the tank?
If it's already set up and they're doing good, I wouldn't chase it. I would just let them acclimate slowly over time. And if they do good, keep it that way. Because it'd be easier on you. But if they don't and they require something, I would just try to gradually. But I'm sure there's much smarter people in the chat than me.
Well, yeah, Kayla's still in here. Okay, she was thinking about, and I just know that stuff changes your parameters so fast.
I don't know.
She said she was thinking about trying fish, the Fritz's pH neutralizer.
And see what happens. Yeah. Let me know.
Kaylor hit us up. He said, CCAM pH regulator. Use with caution. That's why I try to stay away. We try to stay away from chemicals.
Like I would like to have, there's a few soft water type fish out there that I would like to keep in my life, but I know that I'm not going to go through the trouble of learning how to make RO water. That sounds really complicated. So I just best left with what works. Yes. My life bears.
There's better, I think macrostoma.
I know there's some wild ones. Wild
water that I don't want to try them because I end up killing them.
I'll leave that to Amber. Big city business.
Oh yeah. Well,
and I also have magnolia leaves in all these tanks though. Also,
we have a magnolia tree. Is that the
magnolia?
The pine, the petite one in the front yard, and I've used them in my tanks too. And they like them. The shrimp really do like them. They like those leaves.
I have two huge trees that I have to harvest.
Oh.
I have bedders also, so I make tea out of them, out of the leaves, and have some in jars. Or like my shrimp tank, I just put the leaves in there and watch them strip them out. The snails love them. The shrimp love them.
You can watch them instantaneously when it sinks to the bottom. Just attack it. Just start nibbling.
I've forever got skeletons in there.
Oh yeah, watch them grow.
Well, do you have in the last couple minutes? Do you have anything coming out video wise, or what time does your stream come on tonight? It's 10:30, I think, my time, but I'm not sure.
10:30 Central and Eastern 11:30. But it's 10:30 Central tonight. Other than that, I don't have anything. I'm more impromptu, like 1 o'clock in the morning since I work overnight. When I'm off, I'm watching YouTube at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll just get this idea and I'll get up and do it, and then I'll film a video later on. That's the hardest part for me to, like, go piece by piece videoing. Like, hey, why don't you just let us see, film it from the beginning to the end? Oh, that's so hard. That's hard. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, filming. You would think filming, since being on YouTube, would be like something I should know how to do, but it's so hard, the filming and getting it to look right and focus, and it's hard, but I'm glad I'll figure it out eventually.
Hey, they got apps for it.
Yeah. They have apps for everything. It makes my life so much easier.
Well, did you end up asking my question?
About his name. Yeah, he told us about how he this is his third channel.
Oh, okay.
He and it's kind of morphed into Big Tank Hank.
Oh, okay.
He was curious about your name, how you got your name.
It was I mean, I guess I can use the word organic.
Yeah, that's a way better. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at a sign up here that my daughter made for me. Let me see. Can I line it up? Can you see it?
Yeah.
My nickname is Big Preacher, and it's Big P's House of Inler. Then the channel was Big P's Guppy Town. And those just existed. That's all they did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what I was doing with Big Tank Hank. It kind of went along with, at one point I had these 55 gallons and all of this, and I had these little bitty feeders, guppies and stuff, with it. And I thought about some guys back in the day, rap guys. Big Bank Hank was like their nickname, showed that they had all this money and they was somebody.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, Big Tank Hank, big dude. They talking about me being a big dude with these little fish. I'm like, that sounds cool. So I used it, and every chat that I showed up in, hey, Big Tank Hank, I really like to, it just
clicked.
Yeah, it grew legs, It just grew legs, and I'm glad I picked it.
Well, that's awesome. I didn't know if that was something that was like maybe somebody called you when you were in high school, if you played sports, or if you did anything, and you just kind of you went, okay, I can run with this.
Yeah, it just clicked. It just clicked. 'Cause my real name is Garrick, G-E-R-I-C, Garrick Alexander.
That's awesome, though. I love the name Big Tank Hank. I can't forget it. I mean, it sticks in your brain.
It does.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Who was it? Alien Aquatics. I think was the first time I used it. I was in one of their streams, and they were just like, I mean, they made me excited, And plus, I use emojis because I can't type fast. So I'm always describing everything, with emojis. So I would show up on their stream with like these police lights.
Uh-huh.
So they would be waiting on it. I don't see Hank yet. Ooh, there he is, Big Hank.
He shows up. There he is. Oh, we found him now. Or he found us.
Right, exactly how it worked. But I thank y'all very much.
Well, thank you for being here.
Having me on here.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
I stay humble, man. I stay humble in this. It's, as a little kid, you dream about stuff. I didn't dream about this specifically like this, but I had, I had my fitness channel and all that did really take off. So I had a mindset of what I wanted that to do, but it just didn't work. It didn't, the people over there they want you to, like I say, they want you to pat them on the head and tell them how swole they are. I'm not that guy, So
I have a friend that's in the beauty community, and our YouTube experiences are drastically different. I was like, I'm not being in no beauty community. No way. And it's probably about like that in the fitness. It's like, I'm better with my fish people.
And all I did that was in common with them was I lift weights, and I lifted a lot of weights. So if I was only trying to be in like the powerlifting side of it may have been different. But I've always liked bodybuilding. But there's nothing about me that says bodybuilder. And with them, it's all about being pretty and everything. And I'm like, no, I'm not pretty.
No, I'm just me.
Yeah, I'm just me. I'm not
just
pretty.
Me, bro.
Let me try something else. And I talk to people in real life. So I came over and just started talking to people.
Oh yeah. Well, I understand. I come from a wrestling and MMA background, so yeah. I want you to critique me, to beat me down, make me mad. I want you to make me want to fight to get better.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not. I'm a uber aggressive person, but people can't really tell because I actually used to own I had a club security company of mine. I worked in clubs, and then I owned one, Silverback protection team. So Silverback gorilla is that's my spirit animal. Along with the shirts like this, my kids would get me for Father's Day. They find stuffed gorillas and stuff like that because in my late 20s, early 30s, I was like 320 pounds. You know, my back was super wide, big, giant arms. I had long goatee, no mustache. I was all silverback, no chaser,
Oh yeah. Well, what was the movie? What was it? What was it? Armageddon.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He died. The actor. Come get Papa Bear.
Oh.
he just needed the motorcycle to go with. Yeah.
Well,
Come get me.
Well, thank you again for talking with us. I really do appreciate it. Tons. It was a great conversation,
No
and
problem.
we'll have to do it again soon.
No, hey, most definitely. I plan on being around for a long time.
Well, I'm glad. And I will see you in your chat later tonight. And if you haven't, make sure you go subscribe to Big Tank Hank and tune in tonight at 10:30 for history.
Central time.
Central time.
You got
But next week, I believe Punchy Paints Pam will be here, and it's my birthday next Friday.
Okay.
So I will see you guys all next week.
So we'll try to stay on topic, maybe.
Bye.